back with another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer. Had a great time yesterday at Infotech 2025. It was at the Luminarium in Omaha and hosted by the AIM Institute. And it was just a lot of great information, talking mostly about AI yesterday and how this tool is still evolving and going to be able to help you in your business and your personal life too. So wonderful information. Got to meet a lot of great people, and I really enjoyed everything. Big thanks to AIM, to Jamie Bush, to Dala Alfonso, to everyone. Brett Berkebile, don't want to forget Brett, and all the folks involved with AIM. They were very wonderful hosts, and I made sure that everything was taken care of. And I even got to host the trivia contest, which I managed to get through without exposing myself as a new village idiot. So I'm calling that a win, and it was a lot of fun and great food. Just a wonderful, wonderful time. Special guest on today's show, I'm going to bring you a conversation that I had with Cindy Schmader. Cindy has a business that is designed to help you recover after disaster strikes. It is Service Master Restore by Schmader. And, it could be fire, could be smoke, could be water damage. They do a lot of mold remediation. They do hoarding cleanup. They do vandalism cleanup. They do so many different things. And we really get into a great conversation about mold and what to do about it and what you should do about it. So that is all coming up on today's show. Do you or does someone you love need in-home care? Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with a personalized touch. Aging in place can be critical for many people. Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. HCAN of Southwest Iowa brings you the personal touch to care at home in Glenwood, Red Oak, Clarinda, Council Bluffs, all the surrounding communities. Visit hcan.com/Southwest Iowa to learn more. Do you have a leak or a clogged drain, or maybe planning a big remodel? Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. Fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. Locally owned and trusted, and they take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, call Waldstein Plumbing. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com for a free estimate. Back with us on the program this morning, it is Cindy Schmader, and she is with Service Master Restore by Schmader. On the Iowa side, you also have offices on the Nebraska side as well, but grateful for your time, and also it's always good to see you every week. We're both part of the Council Bluffs Business Connection, and you come in with great tips every Thursday. A lot of these tips are designed to keep folks from needing you. And I think that's it's a really great service that it is that you offer. And I was hoping we could talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, like Thursday morning, one of the things my PSA is we had last Thursday night when it rained really bad. We had someone that had some gutters that were full. So we just kind of said, my whole thing is clean your gutters out. I know it's been kind of crazy around here, but get your gutters cleaned out. Get them so that the drain spouts. Guys, I can't talk today. The drain spouts can, flow and stuff. So you don't have to call us. So it doesn't back up, rolls over, comes into your basement.
What are some of the things that can happen, if those gutters are full and they're not, because they're designed to, all of the water goes down the downspout and then it's redirected away from the foundation. But what are some of the things that you see if folks have clogged gutters?
Oh, sure. And, and especially if they've clogged for over a period of time, like we'll see foundation issues. We'll go to places, maybe they've gotten water, they didn't realize it. We'll see cracks in the walls. We had one where actually the cover of their window well was not on. And so it filled up with water and then got to a certain level. And then it just started pouring in that window. The window didn't break, but it just poured in through all of the little cracks and crevices because it can. So those are always things I always tell people, walk around your house, before a storm. And this gal, the storm, I think it was 2 or 3 days maybe earlier, she said, I'd walked around my house. I did what you told me to do. And then when I came back, of course, this storm, she said somebody had removed the brick to get down in there to make sure that it was the wheel well, get the leaves and stuff out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And didn't put the brick back on it. So her cover flew off, the window well filled up with water, and then came into her house. So it was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, there's just some weird things that happen to us it's kind of crazy.
Well, and I would think that sometimes too that with that water, people may not catch it all the time. A lot of people use the basement as storage, so you've got a lot of things stacked up against the wall and that type of thing, and it has to get very bad before they even know that it's there, and by that point, you have more problems than just some water coming in.
Yeah, and we've had some calls too that people call us and say, "Hey, I've got a weird smell in my house," which always makes me nervous because you never know what you're going to find. But that is some of it too, like especially people that don't use their basements. I always tell people, walk your basement. I know you don't probably use your basement, but walk it at least once a week. Check in the closets, look in the corners, especially with weather like this that we're having today. Go check those corners and those closets. Water comes in and it sits there long enough, the water itself can start smelling. Then if it sits long enough, it could grow mold, and then that's going to start smelling. Just it. So, and we even had a gal that had that happen to, and then we had another family who hardly ever goes in their basement. They had water, carpet, didn't know it. Mold on the carpet. Got distracted here for a minute. Mold on the carpet, on the top layer of the carpet, and all of them were sick. They had runny noses, watery eyes. They started getting like a little cold, like phlegmy stuff. It was all pretty much, in my opinion, directed or from the mold that they were breathing in. So
yeah, there's a lot of folks that have mold sensitivity, and which I think should be pretty much all of us, because we don't want to live in that.
Right.
And I would also think it's probably a good tip to not completely fill up your basement to the point that you can't see if you're having problems until it already damaged a lot of things. And I was guilty of this. I did this for a long time, that, along the wall in a basement, I've got boxes stacked up, and, it was just a storage area, but that is the place that if water's getting in, that's how you need to know it.
Yeah, it can. And the other thing too is people don't realize is like, and I have this in my basement in my house, like the humidity in my basement gets high, and so that higher humidity can cause, if you have boxes stacked up against the wall, it's not the mold on the box or the wall, but it's that humidity that is creating it to be damp enough, because you need food and it's dark. It's between that crevice. You need food, dark, damp. The humidity is making it damp, and I had probably about 25 boxes of business stuff that I keep kind of crammed in a corner down in we have a room that, like our file room, if you will. We had to get rid of it. It was all moldy, and it was just, and we never really had any water. We just had high humidity from different events. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's back when I still had my house, I was running the dehumidifier all the time in the summertime. Didn't have to run it in the wintertime. But in the summertime, the humidity was always really high down there. And if it wasn't running, you could smell it. I mean, it was just kind of a musty smell it didn't smell healthy to me.
Yeah, exactly. We do that too. We have a humidifier in our basement. We run it 24/7. I mean, it runs all the time, all year long. We even run it in the winter. So that's how humid our basement will get. But the other thing too is with mold, like that smell you smell, that musty smell, the mold is growing, so it puts off a smell. So that's, and a lot of times when people smell it, they're like, oh, it'll go away. Well, it might when it gets a little warmer out, but it is an indication that there's something going on. You need to go check it out.
I think this is a good opportunity to talk about this too, since we're on the subject of mold. And I only have two careers. One is talking, and the other is I used to be a painter. Oh. And as a painter, I would run across those types of, like, if I find mold on a wall, and this was actually part of my service agreement when I would go in, that if I find mold, I stop immediately. And I come and I find you and I tell you about it. Mm-hmm. And I have seen property owners do this before. I witnessed it, that they would take some cleaner, spray it on the wall, and wipe it off. So that's all you had to do. Mm-hmm. No.
And if it's surface mold, sometimes you can do that, but usually when there's mold somewhere, there's a problem. So instead of just wiping it off and cleaning it up, you need to look for the source because there's a reason why it's there. So that's what we try to do is we go in and we try to find the source of the mold or where it's coming from. And it could be in another room on the other side that's leaking and it's just running across the baseboards. I mean, it's water is path of least resistance, so it will go wherever it wants to go. But unfortunately, when it sits so long, then it creates mold. And that I've had other people tell me that too. They're like, "Oh, we just took some Clorox and sprayed it." No, no, Clorox. So with mold, you need an antimicrobial. You need a side to kill it. Clorox bleach is a stat, so it will not kill the mold. Basically, when you're spraying Clorox on there, all it's doing is it's making the color go away. You're wiping it off, and yes, it's gone for a short amount of time, but it will come back.
Yeah, because it's
If you've done
actually
that, if you've used it, go
yeah.
check that spot out because it might be back.
Yeah, well, and the mold has actually penetrated the wall, even in parts that you can't see.
Correct.
And this is something that I learned. I was never certified for mold, so that's why I didn't touch it. Because once I did, then it's my responsibility, and I could not take on that responsibility.
Correct.
So it had to be up to the homeowner to deal with it. But this is something that I learned while doing some research was that it's almost like there's roots going in from the mold that you cannot see. So it may look like you've just done something, but you really haven't. And that's why somebody who is certified and understands how to deal with it, such as your company, it's so important. If you really want it gone, this is what you have to do. And you talked about the source too. And we just had somebody else talk about this just recently in that same meeting and you said the same words, water takes the path of least resistance. So just because you see water coming in your wall right there, that doesn't mean it's the source on the other side.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. And, we've had places where we've gone into where the mold's been in the drywall or it's been in the baseboards. And once it gets to that point, it's a tear out, right? So you have to tear it out, clean it up. We've got to if it's on the outside, more than likely it's on the inside of the drywall. So that's the other thing. People are like, well, it's just on the outside. But you don't really know that. So we will cut it out, go in. We have found, we did a place one time we had to literally take from the baseboards to the ceiling, and every stud we had to grind or sand and actually get the mold spores out of the wood. And then you could either, we use a hygienist that doesn't like you to paint it. So I don't encourage that, but some people do. If they're doing it themselves, they'll, sand it down, get all the mold spores out, and then paint it so that it doesn't come back. But painting it doesn't mean it's not going to come back. So that's the other thing too. Like if you don't paint it, you can see it when it's happening. But if you paint it, you might not catch it until it's a little bit further down the line, and then you're replacing studs or you're replacing a wall or mold is very damaging.
It's kind of like if the check engine light comes on in your car, I keep a little piece of electrical tape there that I can stick over the top of the light. So that's what you're doing.
I love it. Oh, that's cool.
But how difficult is it to really find out just how bad the mold problem is? Is the only way to do it to open up the wall? Is there any other way of checking?
No, so it's called a borescope. So it's basically a camera on the end of a long, it's probably 3-4 feet maybe. So a lot of times what we can do is we can drill a hole that's maybe about the size of your thumb or a quarter maybe, and we can go in and we can look. And if the backside looks good, then maybe we just follow the baseline, and maybe it came from, like you said, if it's on this baseline over here, maybe it's from water over there. So not necessarily have to open up all of it, but we need to find out where the source is. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll open up the wall there at the source, and then we just follow it. We go about every 2 feet or 3 feet or 4 feet, whatever it is, and then look at the back of the drywall. And once it's clean, we stop. But we try to go so I'd say probably about 8-10 inches on once it's clean, keep going, and then for sure you've got it. So, but most generally, if it's in the wall or it's in a building material, most generally you do have to open up and look at it. So
Yeah, and if it's that's, as you said, it's an altogether different issue once it's gotten to the point where you do have to open up a wall. So I think the biggest tip that you said out of all of this, Cindy, is just check.
Yeah.
Set aside a time on, hey, Wednesdays after dinner, we're going to go down in the basement, just do a quick walkthrough, make sure that everything is okay. I know that the out of sight, out of mind thing may feel comfortable, but it's really not.
No. And and I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I mean, we don't use our basement anymore. It's just my husband and I. So we have literally 3 rooms or 4 rooms that we use. But I did come home the other day and I was like, I smell something. What is it? So went down in the basement. Thank God it was a mouse. So I was good, but I didn't know what it was. But, we were gone for the weekend, came back and find a mice. So, but it's always good too when you come in. Like I've had somebody told me the other day, they said, we smelled some stuff in our house. We just ignored it. I'm like, okay, it might be okay now, but you keep ignoring it. And the longer you ignore it, the worse it's going to get and the more it's going to cost. And that's, we don't want to have to go down that road. We'd rather catch it when it's little and charge you a small amount than when it gets big and it's, thousands of dollars. So
I think that's one of the things that I've always appreciated about you, Cindy, is that you're looking out for your customers and you're trying to find, because you understand that these kind of problems can become pricey. So it's always better for everybody involved that if we catch them early, then it's not as big of a project. With the weather that we've been having and, we've gotten quite a bit of rain here recently, have you seen an increase in calls?
We've seen an increase of calls to the places, and actually our warehouse as we speak is leaking. So we have a leak on the ceiling. So it's just, and it happens to everybody, but yeah, we've seen an increase in calls. A lot of it's outside water coming in. And like I said, a lot of downspouts, not, maybe the downspouts are clear, but the gutters are full of leaves and trees and stuff. So it's unfortunate because usually when that outside water comes in, it is not the cleanest. Usually it brings mud with it and chemicals and, so then you're just kind of dealing with a whole nother level, if you will, because we can dry carpet, pad most generally not. We'll take the pad out, we can dry carpet, but then we're looking at sanitizing it. So make sure that any of those chemicals or any of that stuff that came in, it's cleaned up and sanitized so that when you go to put the carpet or the pad back down, put the carpet back down, it is safe for you and your family. So that's right now, that's kind of probably one of our biggest things is making sure the carpet's clean and the flooring underneath of it's clean so that you don't have any issues down the road. So
I think that's a very good point that the top of the carpet may seem dry, but if that pad underneath has gotten wet, then there's no way for it to dry on its own. If it's wet, it's wet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Cindy Schmader of Service Master Restore by Schmader, some great tips today. And hopefully we got a lot of people that are turning this off and walking down into their basement to take a look and do a pass-through and make sure that everything's okay.
Check the whole house. Check the whole house, not just the basement. Check the whole house.
Check the whole house. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll have you back on again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
I always enjoy my conversations with Cindy. She has such great information, and I think that her business is really important. And she's the first to admit she hopes that you never have to call her, and she truly believes that. But knowing that sometimes you will. So if disaster strikes, this is the company that you want to be able to get a hold of to begin to put things right again. Castle and Associates of American Family Insurance is your local insurance provider for all your home, auto, life, business, and farm insurance needs. 4 convenient locations in Trainer, Council Bluffs, and in Nebraska in Bellevue and Elkhorn. They are local and in your neighborhood, ready to help you navigate the complexities of insurance today. Travis and his team educate, advise, and simplify insurance, all to protect those things you cherish most. Give them a call for your free quote. And if you need precision metal fabrication done right, look no further than Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs. Custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, bringing your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Whether it's industrial, commercial, or custom fabrication, they're going to get the job done on time and built to last. Their website, foxcofab.com. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Again, thank you to Cindy Schmader for being our special guest, and a lot more still coming up this week. I'm doing some special interviews today that I'm looking forward to talking to you about coming up in the days and weeks. So we'll fill you in more on that on tomorrow's show. So until then, my name's Todd Studer. Have a great Tuesday.